Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cryptid's Combo Corner. Today we're taking Reanimator for a spin through the Penny Dreadful at Season 35 Kickoff. Nadu, Winged Wisdom is legal, but I think the more sweet card is Persist here. It, in Priest of Fell Rites, let us reanimate a creature. Unmarked Grave and Buried Alive get creatures into our graveyard to reanimate. And then Serra's Emissary with protection from creatures, and Sire of Insanity, discarding our opponent's hand, are our payoffs. Alternatively, if we have Asmodeus and Skirge Familiar in the bin, Necrotic Ooze can draw our deck and make like 20 black mana while we're at it. So, that's the Reanimator deck with some interaction inside and in the main. We'll see how it goes in the games. Alright, and here we are for round one of the kickoff. This hand is amazing. We can go turn 1 Duress to take their interaction, and then turn 2 Caves of Koilos, Dark Ritual, Unmarked Grave, Persist for whichever thing is better. Probably Sire of Insanity, given that this is turn 2 on the play. Not a lot of cards, or not a lot of decks can deal with that. Yeah, like they'll have a fortified village in a 2-1 versus our 6 or our 5-3. Although it actually is a little tricky because if they find some auras to put on this veteran survivor, then it might grow out of range of our Sire of Insanity. Yeah. I'm not sure. We'll take this as test and training, just because it draws cards. I honestly don't... So generally the rule is if you're playing against an aggressive deck, you get Serra's Emissary. If you're playing against a not aggressive deck, then you get Sire of Insanity. Given that their deck is full of 1-mana auras, and a 5-3 is not going to win the game if they can stick like a Spider Umbra on this veteran survivor, and we have this Buried Alive in hand, I'm going to go ahead and put a Serra's Emissary into play. If they are able to find removal, okay, we're going to name creature, because then their creatures can't deal us damage. If they do find removal for the Emissary, we will still be able to eventually Buried Alive for Ooze. Or we just win. Okay. We take this. Alright. So what do we want out of the sideboard? We want basically to swap the removal spells. Swap the discard for removal spells. Vindicate might be fine here. They're likely to bring Graveyard Hate, so we'll take out 2 Unmarked Grave. We'll leave in the Cruelclaw's Heist just as a way to check if the way is clear when we're comboing off with the Ooze. Do we want to cut anything else here? I'm tempted to cut Sire, just like Serra's Emissary is going to be good enough most of the time. But then again, if we do News combo, then we want to be able to Sire to get rid of their hand. They're not playing Rats. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Vindicate also nice because it takes care of any Graveyard Hate they may be running in the sideboard. I'm excited to try out these Unwanted Remakes. Swords to plow scares. Alright, here we are for game 2. This hand has a Entomb effect and a reanimation spell, so we are going to keep it. We also have Vindicate in case they have something like Wheel of Sun and Moon, and a Dam for their first threat. If their first threat has hexproof, then we can just wait until turn 4 to Wrath. If it has Indestructible, then our hand is not looking as good. But that's okay. If they don't have Graveyard Hate, then we will be able to just bury it alive into Persist Newswind. Assuming we're not dead. We could just be dead. Ethereal Armor is very good. No follow-up, huh? Okie dokie. Well, we're gonna tap out. So the combo is Skirge Familiar, Asmodeus, Necrotic Ooze. If they have some sort of exile your graveyard effect, then we can bury it alive for Serra's Emissary plus the Priest of Fell Rites, which can unearth to get back a creature from the graveyard. Although we might be dead. We might be dead. We'll see. And Ethereal Armor makes creatures very large very quickly. Oh, that's funny. They can't put the Optimistic Scavenger counter on the Adanto. Okay. Yep, you got it. Berserk, dead. Alright. Good to know, good to know. Is it crazy to bring in Drana and Linvala? I think it's probably crazy. Now that we know they're more of an actual Boggles list, I think we want less removal and more Duresses to take their protection spells. Doesn't look like they have Graveyard Hate, so I'm going to side out the Vindicates. To bring in the Unmarked Graves. Okay. This hand needs to draw a land, but if we draw a land, then we'll be able to go Unmarked Grave, Persist. So I think we keep. We also have Duress to take like an Ethereal Armor or something from them. Okay, so there's Graveyard Hate. I think we take the Setestim Training here because it draws a card. Right now their hand is a little slow. Oh, the Veteran Survivor also has Graveyard Hate, which is a little awkward. So the land we need to draw needs to be white for Priest of Fell Rites. Oh, Dark Ritual also good. That lets us go Unmarked Grave, Persist in the same turn. The good news is they're not killing us particularly fast. The better news is that we get to do the thing. Okay. Alright, so now we Unmarked Grave. We'll go get a Serra's Emissary. They have Berserk in their deck that can technically deal with it. However, they need to draw up Berserk pretty soon, because doubling our power will kill them if they are at 12 life or less. So once we get 2 hits with the Serra's Emissary, we should be fine. It may even be correct to not attack with the Serra's Emissary until we can Priest of Fell Rites plus Unmarked Grave get back a Sire of Insanity. Yeah. Yeah, opponent is remarking on my luck. And, you know, Dark Ritual is a very good card. This is why I'm so excited for Persist. Like, having 2 mana reanimation spell is amazing. They're trying to give their creature reach. It doesn't work. You can't block. I have protection. One of the issues with this deck in the past is your fastest starts require you playing Priest of Fell Rites. But the problem with Priest of Fell Rites is it's got Summoning Sickness. And also you can't cast it off of Dark Ritual. So with Persist and Unmarked Grave both in the format, we have 4 mana win the game in a lot of matchups. And now, because we played the Priest of Fell Rites, even if they Berserk our Serra's Emissary, they will take lethal. Yep. Take 14, please. So they drew their out, but not good enough. Serra's Emissary, insane card in the aggro matchup. Cool. Well, I'll see you next round. All right, here we are back for round 2, and we have another banger of a hand. We are on the draw. If we draw a land on our first draw step, I'm going to go ahead and Dark Ritual out this Buried Alive for our Necrotic Ooze combo. Shambling Vents means that our best bet here is probably Necrotic Ooze combo, because if we get Serra's Emissary, they can kill it. If we get Sire of Insanity, they'll probably be able to drop a Failure or something. Just any form of spot removal could get us. So instead, we will put win the game in the graveyard and hope that's good enough. Dark Ritual, sure. Choking Sands, brutal. Looking like it might not be good enough. All right, here's a Swamp. Swamp can't get Choking Sands, but it can get Vindicated. Okay, they don't have mana for Vindicate. We should be good here, because we get to go second land, Persist in the Necrotic Ooze, draw 7 cards. Okay, I think we discard Unmarked Grave, Priest of Fell Rites, and Cruelclaw's Heist here, because we have more discard in our deck that we can play, and also we want this Persist. So let's draw some more cards. We don't need lands at this point. We can Duress you, just see what's up. Okay, they have actual nothing. That means a couple things. The first thing it means is that we can go ahead and just slam some Grave Titans. It's probably going to be good enough. They have to draw exactly Wrath off the top. And the second thing is that we don't have to reanimate a Sire of Insanity. In fact, what I think I will do is go ahead and just Unmarked Grave, or I might... Let's draw 7 more cards, just see what we find. If we find a Grave Titan, then we are chilling. There's a Sire of Insanity. Like, we only lose to Wrath here, so it's probably best just to discard their entire hand with Sire of Insanity so that they can't draw Wrath. At this point, I'm also probably supposed to stop drawing cards, but who wants to stop drawing cards, you know? Okay. So now we can win the game in a couple ways. The first thing we're going to do is bring back this Sire of Insanity with our Persist. Second thing that we're going to do is play a couple of Necrotic Oozes. Third thing that we're going to do, we have another Persist. We just need to make enough power to win the game on our next turn. We currently have 4, 8, 12. So a single Grave Titan will get the job done. We only have 1 Persist. Probably fine. All right, let's just do this. Boom, boom, boom. Then we can Unmarked Grave plus Persist. And then we'll keep, like, Duress in the land. Okay. Oh wait, we don't keep anything because everybody's hands are going away. Cool. So now they're dead. They need 4 mana in order to... Sure. Okay. Spot removal doesn't do it because we still win the game. All right, and now we begin sideboarding. They're going to play a lot of hate for our combo. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring in a bunch of Grave Titans. I think we can cut the Unmarked Grave. Like I said before, our giant fatties are fine, but they are easier to disrupt than in other matchups. If we get a chance, we are probably just reanimating a Grave Titan, calling it a day. We're keeping in all of the Duresses. We might want 1 or 2 Vindicates in order to be able to kill Ophelia if they are able to land it. But I think with the Grave Titans, we should be good enough into Graveyard Hate that we can just submit. So one interesting deck building decision I made here is not to include the usual Borborygmos Enraged, which lets you discard lands to deal 3 damage. The rationale is that we just don't need it. Like, reanimating a Sire of Insanity and putting 20 power on the table is going to be enough 95% of the time. Alright, and we're back for game 2. This hand is great. We got the turn 3 kill if undisrupted with Priest of Felrites and Buried Alive, but more importantly, we have a bunch of lands. Their primary way to win the combo matchup is to kill our lands, as we saw in game 1, and if we can just keep making land drops, that's not going to be an option. This probably names Ooze. Yep. So Necrotic Ooze win the game, not on the table at the moment. That's fine. We can still Priest of Felrites for a to bring back a Grave Titan next turn after we Buried Alive. Oh, Wheel of Sun and Moon is awkward. Maybe I should have brought in those Vindicates, huh? That's okay. We have a lot of lands. We'll see how much action they have left. The Priest of Felrites beatdown plan, not going to work versus the Shambling Vent, but, you know. Push comes to shove, we can slam this Asmodeus. That would be a funny turn of events. And we have 3 Grave Titans in the deck, so I'm not particularly scared of this Yorion. I'd be curious to see if they flickered the Pithing Needle here to name Priest of Felrites. Nope. Okay, well that's probably smart. This is a funny draw. We're going to play the Skirge Familiar. And then next turn, we can, like, manually combo with Asmodeus. Not a thing I have ever done. But there is a first time for everything. Okay, alright, they decided that that is too threatening. And that now I should die. Super fair. Oh, Ondu Inversion is a nice one. So if we are in danger of losing, we can Ondu Inversion to clean up the board. I don't think I'm ever drawing 7 cards with this Asmodeus, by the way. Like, okay. That makes our decision for us easy. Okay, well, we will be Ondu Inverting next turn, so we gotta leave this Priest of Felrites back to block the Shambling Vent, otherwise we won't be able to activate our Caves of Koilos. We might actually just be dead. Kaya, huh? Okay. Yeah. Alright, cool. So we definitely want to Vindicate. We'll discard this Buried Alive. Doesn't matter. We are dead. Anyway, cool. Discard still gets the graveyard hate on the play, but we do want to have some way to get rid of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the rest of these Unmarked Graves. It means we'll be a little light on Graveyard Searchers, but the Vindicate being able to deal with the creatures as well, I think is worth it. as we saw in the last game, if they are able to land a hate piece like Wheel of Sun and Moon, then it doesn't really matter. Okay, we'll keep this. It's got a Vindicate for a hate piece. It doesn't have a way to search up a card. So like in this very specific case, it would have been better to have the Unmarked Grave, because we could go get a Grave Titan, but that doesn't necessarily win the game anyway, so... This matchup is probably bad. Although it will be funny if we can... Oh, if they make us discard a card here? Oh, rip. I was hoping they were going to make us discard our Serra's Emissary with like a Bandit's Talent or something. Then we could persist it back. Name sorcery. I don't think it would be very good because it still just dies to Wrath, but, you know. Okay. Do we Vindicate their land here? I think probably not. We don't have that many Vindicates in the deck. YOLO. Like, if we can draw Buried Alive before they draw land to... Okay, Bandit's Talent, sure. Like this. Okay, what are we Buried Aliving for, though? Is the question. One issue with this build of news is we don't actually have an instant kill combo. Although they are on 5 cards, and we did just kill one of their lands. Probably the answer is we go Swamp, Dark Ritual, Buried Alive. We'll reanimate a Sire of Insanity here, but we'll also go get an Asmodeus and a Skirge Familiar, because that means if we ever draw a Necrotic Ooze, that is a threat to combo on the next turn. Thalia is fine. Okay, there's a Necrotic Ooze. So... one of the neat things about this version of the Necrotic Ooze combo is even if you don't have cards in hand, you can still use black mana to pay for the Asmodeus draw 7 cost. So they need something pretty good here. They need like Sporogenic Infection to make us sacrifice a creature and then flicker it with Thalia. Yeah, Wheel of Sun and Moon, not going to do it. Actively bad, actually, because now we can draw our deck and repeatedly draw our deck. Yeah, Sacritor knows the end is near, so just getting in some points of damage while we can. Okay, cool. Let's draw 7 cards. Boom, boom, boom. Let's discard some cards to draw another 7 cards. Let's play our land first, just because we can. Oh my god, Wheel of Sun and Moon is going to make me put these cards into my deck. Oh no. Okay, there's Grave Titan. I'm just looking for the dam for that, to kill that Thalia. And then if we find the dam, then this game is... Well, okay, this game is already over. But while we're here, we might as well do some more shenanigans. My opponent can concede at any time. I guess I should draw my cards before casting my giant spells, because casting spells puts cards back in my deck, and I want to draw my removal spells. Gotta make sure I don't deck here. That's my only lose condition. Okay, there's the dam. We'll just kill the Philia because... And then we'll kill their land because they're still here. And why would you still be here? Okay, and we'll cast another couple Grave Titans and call it a day. An amusing thing here, with the Wheel of Sun and Moon in play, we could mill them out by just repeatedly casting a Cruelclaw's Heist, but I will have mercy both on my fingers and on my opponent by just casting 3 Grave Titans instead. And notable here, whatever cards we don't put into play will get discarded by this Priest of by this Sire of Insanity. And I could have killed the Sire of Insanity, but, you know, it's a moot point. Like, they are going to 3, and we have like 35, 38, 39 power in play, so. Cool. GG's. See you in the next. Alright, here we are back for another round of the Penny Dreadful Season 35 kickoff. This hand sucks. Like, we don't have a reanimation spell, and also we don't have black mana, so easy mole. This hand is great. We have Buried Alive to get our combo pieces, and a Necrotic Ooze to win. Yes, that's the word I am looking for. It's a bit slow because it is a turn 4 win instead of like a turn 3 or whatever, but looks like our opponent's not playing a particularly fast deck, so it should be okay. Cruelclaw's Heist is excellent here. I'm going to go ahead and cast it without gift because I want to take whatever interaction they may have, like this memory lapse. Azorius Charm doesn't do anything against us. Okay, so it looks like they're on Is It Tempo. Oh, forgot to give him the old good luck, have fun. Okay, so normally here I would Buried Alive for the Sire of Insanity, but that is currently in my hand, so we're just going to go get another Ooze, a Skirge Familiar, and an Asmodeus, because if we do that, then we can Persist next turn and have enough mana to go twice, to draw 7 cards twice. So if they do draw some sort of removal spell, we will be able to beat that by drawing cards in response. Okay, so just quick count, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we don't quite have enough for 2 activations, but we do have this Ripples of Undeath in case they have a counterspell. So let's Persist. Okay, they let that resolve. Let's go ahead and draw 7 cards. God, I love this deck. Okay, cool. Alright, sideboarding. Opponent's on control. Duress good. Yeah. Bring in 1 to 2 Vindicates. Serra's Emissary probably worse than Grave Titan here, but that's okay. We'll just take out 2 Unmarked Graves. We have the 1 Grave Titan. Generally speaking, the best card in this matchup is going to be Priest of Fell Rites, because if they counter it, then we can flash it back for 5 mana. Yeah, not too scared of their 3/3 flyer, although that can pressure our life total if it comes down to it. Okay, this hand is interesting. A kind of funny line that we can do is Dark Ritual out the Skirge Familiar and then Persist a Sire of Insanity, but I don't think we can keep this hand. Because, well, I don't know, we're on the draw. We can draw something good. We can also bait out, like, interaction by playing the news on turn 2. And then if they have a counterspell for it, we can persist it back. Am I really going to keep this hand? No, it doesn't have any discard. Okay, this hand is better. We've got the Unmarked Grave, we've got a Vindicate for Graveyard Hate, we've got a Persist. I'm going to put back the news because we just don't need it. News wins us the game, but Sire of Insanity is also going to win us the game if we are able to get that. Shineshadow Snarl, good here. So we're going to lead on the Priest of Fell Rites. They could... Okay, there is a Graveyard Interaction card. They can always bolt our Priest of Fell Rites, but it is good to get it out there. That way, if we draw a Dark Ritual next turn, then we can Dark Ritual, Unmarked Grave, and Vindicate all in the same turn. Alright, well, they're tapped with Counter Magic. Now's a good time to Vindicate their Silent Gravestone. Don't care too much about this, this rider. And now, if they tap some mana to deal with our Priest of Fell Rites, then we can safely Unmarked Grave, Persist. I'll probably get the Serra's Emissary at this point. Oh, or we can draw a counterspell with this Buried Alive. Yeah, let's start with the Unmarked Grave. We'll get the Serra's Emissary, and then if they counter this Persist, we can uncounterably bring it back with the Priest of Fell Rites next turn. Oh, great. Yeah, I would love a 2/2. And this is the power of the deck versus counterspells. Oh, I would love 3 life even better. Like, they killed our reanimation spell, but because they left this Priest of... because this Priest of Fell Rites has Unearth, we can uncounterably bring it back anyway. And this is going to name creature. We could also name instant, but I think at this point it is most important to protect our life total. We could also name sorcery. They did show us an oust, but I want to be able to attack for a couple turns with this Serra's Emissary. Okay. All right. Well, now we're just looking for a Persist. Oh, Necrotic Ooze, also a good one. Let's play that. Okay, we get another 2/2. Sounds good. They have a removal spell for that one. Starting to think maybe I should have killed the Mantis Rider. Nah, killing the That's pretty funny. Okay. Well, we are one land away from hard casting the Serra's Emissary. So let's go ahead and see what we can bury it alive for. I think we get the combo and a Priest of Fell Rites. And then if they have nothing, we can kill them next turn. Because Priest of Fell Rites is 5, and then we'll have 2 cards in hand to pitch. Okay, well, if you got a Burst Lightning, you got a Burst Lightning. If not, you're pretty dead. I guess they get another turn. Which is one of the downsides of this particular build of the deck. Okay, nothing yet. So we will make a couple mana. We will Duress, just to make sure the coast is clear. Sure. Yeah, you have successfully memory lapsed. Okay. And now the nice thing here is we can both kill their Mantis Rider and also reanimate the Serra thing on instant. And then that lets us not die to Burst Lightning. Okay, now we are looking for a Grave Titan or some other way to close out the game. We're also looking for our dam. Let's just play this Isolated Chapel out here. Push comes to shove, we can always Vindicate their thing. I do only have 2 more draw 7s left, but their deck is not going to be able to make us draw cards, I think. So, okay, there's the dam. Discard no longer useful. Now we can persist the Serra's Emissary on instant. So we don't die to Burst Lightning. Alright, opponent sees the writing on the wall. GG's. See y'all in the next round. Alright, and here we are for round 4 of the Penny Dreadful season kickoff. This hand is fine. Like, Persist is an important card. Ripples will hopefully find us something. I think we can keep this, but we're not happy about it. Okay, Temple of Silence. Second Persist was not really what we wanted there. Mostly we want a Unmarked Grave, Buried Alive type thing. Oh, they didn't cast any spells, huh? Okay, well, let's jam this Ripples of Undeath. See what happens. That makes me a little scared for what they have in their hand. Hopefully this Ripples will find us a Duress or something. Okay. What do we find? Duress. Perfect. Yes, I would like to pay mana and life to pick up this Duress. Just to see what opponent has going on. Ah, mirror match. I see. So they are really choked on mana. If they spike a second land next turn, they can Unmarked Grave plus Persist. I am going to go ahead and take their Dark Ritual and play my land, and then eventually we'll march our way to 5 mana and be able to Buried Alive plus Persist in the same turn. Okay. Do we want a news? Kind of want a news. Could also just pick up a Priest of Fell Rites. Wouldn't be bad. I think all of these options are pretty great. We'll pick up a Priest of Fell Rites for efficiency. Then we can play it. This lets us get back the news next turn without using our Persist, which means that we can discard a bunch of cards and probably go find a Sire of Insanity. This game probably over at this point. Opponent just missed too many land drops. Looks like they are also on news. Okay, no. Don't need to pay life to pick up any of these because I'm about to draw 1,000,000 cards. Get the Sire, get the Asmodeus, get the Skirge Familiar, reanimate the news, draw 7 cards. Just for giggles, we'll draw 7 cards. Discard this dam, they're never going to have a creature. Cast Dark Ritual, discarding Buried Alive. You've seen this song and dance before. We'll go ahead and take a look at your hand. Yeah, none of these cards are going to kill us this turn, so we'll just exile a Priest of Fell Rites, just for the sake of completeness. Then we can cast a Necrotic Ooze. I guess we'll draw 7 cards first. I do like drawing cards, which means that this is an excellent deck for me. Okay, we'll discard this Shineshadow Snarl. Then, what do we do now? Just persist a bunch of stuff? Yeah, we'll get back the Sire of Insanity, so they don't have any cards in their hand. We'll get back the Serra's Emissary, so that we can kill them next turn. I guess we discard the Unmarked Grave. Lame creature, why not? Cool. Alright, game 2. Opponent got unlucky there. This deck is... This is a mirror match. Okie dokie. Well, let's see how the mirror match goes. Drana and Linvala coming in here for sure. Do we want Pithing Needles? Probably not. Do we want Lost Legacy? Probably. I kind of want one Unwanted Remake. I have no idea how this goes. Okay. I think this is going to be a game of speed. Who can combo off first? So I actually don't think I want all of these reactive cards. I think we just want the Drana and Linvala. And then Duress good, Cruelclaw's Heist good. We do want something to answer things that are on the board. Dam is good, but we probably want more of that effect. I think Grave Titan probably not necessary in this matchup. Vindicate good. Unwanted Remake actually might be better than Vindicate here. News is awesome because if they bin the news combo, then we can just steal it. Which is pretty funny. I don't think they have Graveyard Hate. Most of the Graveyard Hate in this format is symmetrical. Ripples of Undeath, kind of slow. Might be bad here. This hand has a Priest of Fell Rites, but no interaction and no way to put something in the bin. This hand has a Priest of Fell Rites and an Unmarked Grave, so we can do the turn 2 Sire of Insanity thing. It might not be good enough, but we'll see. Or sorry, the turn 3 Sire of Insanity thing. Unwanted Remake. Kind of the best draw in our deck here. No. Ah, man. Okay. Well, originally I was going to play this Priest of Fell Rites after Unwanted Remaking their Priest of Fell Rites. I think now we wait, unfortunately. So if they bury it alive for news or something, then I can kill the priest in response. Yeah, ransack the lab is fine. Okay, they did not find a reanimation target. And next turn we'll be able to hold up. We'll be able to play the priest while holding up Unwanted Remake. So I think that's what we will do. We do have a question here, if they buried alive, of whether we Unwanted Remake in response. Second priest, not scary. Take it. Okay, I think now we Unwanted Remake. The question is, what do we get? Sire of Insanity is tempting because they don't have any cards. They won't have any cards left in their hand. But they do have these 2 priests on board, so we won't have a way to stop them. Honestly, Grave Titan would have been really good here. But, you know, you live and you learn. I think this might be crazy, but I think I'm going to get a Necrotic Ooze because this stops them from comboing. Because if they go to grab the combo pieces, we will have the card. We will be able to combo off in response to a reanimation spell of some sort. It also blocks the Priest of Fell Rites. And if we find another Entomb effect, we can always rebuy the Priest of Fell Rites out of the graveyard. Okay, there's a Sire of Insanity. So they're going to probably reanimate a Sire of Insanity, and then I have to make a decision of whether I want to kill it before or after we all discard our hands. Okay, they've decided to not bring back the Sire. They have cards in their hand that they want to stay in their hand. Interesting. Okay, so Unmarked Grave here unfortunately can't get Asmodeus. But it can get A Serra's Emissary? Is that good? I think that's good. I think we go Unmarked Grave for Serra's Emissary. And then next turn we can flashback the Priest of Fell Rites with this Unwanted Remake up. And then if we have a Serra's Emissary in play and a News in play, I'm not sure they will have a way to get us. Because do they have their own Serra's Emissary? That would be pretty funny. Kaya! Aw, boo! Boo, Kaya! Okay. Well, the good news is if we ever draw a Buried Alive, we do just win the game. I think at this point, we don't want to discard hands, but it's kind of a moot point here because they have the Priest. So Unwanted Remake on the Sire of Insanity does not, in fact, actually do that much. Okay, so I think we pass. This Kaya is going to kill us eventually. What did they discard? Their own Serra's Emissary and an Erebos' Intervention. Okay, cool. Alright, well, now we have our own Priest of Fell Rites. They're going to make their team unblockable and smack us for a bunch because of protection from creatures. But yeah, we'll see. I'm feeling pretty dead, but because we got this Priest of Fell Rites, do we have outs here? We might not. The Unmarked Grave only being able to find non-legendary cards is awkward with the guy that lets us draw 7. Like, we would not have cared too much if they Kaya'd. If we had been able to draw 7 first. Okay, that means we're dead. Good games, opponent. Well, I mean, we still have game the next. Okay, that game was interesting in that it was much less combo-y. I think I'm pretty happy with how I sideboarded, but seeing Kaya makes me want at least one Vindicate. But what do we cut? I think... Do we cut the Sire? No. Unwanted Remake felt pretty awkward there. It was nice to have instant speed interaction, but our opponent played around it. So if we just hold up a white mana, then we might be able to just get him. But unfortunately, Unwanted Remake does not hit Kaya. So we will... Okay, this hand would be amazing if we had more untapped lands, but as it is still pretty good. Oh, I should have played the other one. That's okay. I'm tempted to Dark Ritual out a Ripples of Undeath here, but I think probably not worth. Depending on what they play here, we might Dark Ritual Buried Alive plus the Priest of Felrites. Like if they Unmarked Grave for Sire of Insanity here, I mean, best draw definitely Persist, not particularly close. It might not be crazy to Dark Ritual out a Ripples and a Priest. That insulates us from the Sire of Insanity and also lets us Buried Alive next turn anyway. Okay, they got a Lore Mage. I think this turn we just... Oh, I guess... Okay, so Unmarked Grave is not Persist. Oh my god, the decisions in this deck are terrifying. I think we're using Dark Ritual here. Actually, no. I am going to play this Priest of Felrites. And then, next turn, this Dark Ritual represents 5 mana for the Priest of Felrites reanimation effect. So while it would be nice to stick this Ripples in play, I think it is fine to hold the Dark Ritual for a turn when we need it. You know, I had a hard enough time picking which of these cards I wanted to play. I do not envy my opponent's decisions here. Yeah, that's so fair. Taking the Dark Ritual. It is the best card in the deck. Okay, I think now we just play this Ripples and attack because they're holding up Erebos' Intervention. I want to find a discard spell before trying to reanimate anything with this Priest. And if they just slam news here, then they are dead. Okay, what do we find? Necrotic Ooze, you say? We're definitely paying the life to pick something up. The question is what? I think we pick up news. It is a heck of a threat, because if they let us untap with a news, then we can start Auric Lore Maging ourselves. What is this Unmarked Grave getting? Sire of Insanity? Okay, sure. You're gonna persist this? Yep, that works. Now, I have a Ripples of Undeath, and they don't. Do we pay 3 life for this Persist? I think we do. Because that leaves the Priest of Felrites in play. which means that we could even just block the Sire of Insanity here. I don't think I want to, but depending on what happens, like we have this priest. They also have a priest. Okay, no longer blocking the Sire of Insanity with our Necrotic Ooze. I'll take 5. Because now the Lore Mage in their graveyard means that we can draw 7 cards. Okay. So, how is this going to work? We're going to draw 7 cards with our Necrotic Ooze. Okay, this is how this is going to work. We're going to get a Dark Ritual, because why not? I was thinking about getting the Buried Alive, but because we can Asmodeus here, I think Dark Ritual is just better. In this case, it's actually Cabal Ritual. But okay, cool. We got to Persist. We didn't find anything that we really want or care about, but we can Vindicate this Priest of the Fell Rites, so they can't get their stuff back. Do we Vindicate the Priest of Fell Rites, or do we just draw 7 more cards? Drawing 7 more cards is appealing. Like, what would we need to find there? Oh, I guess... Yeah, okay, we just draw 7 cards. I'm going to play my Swamp first in case we find the Skirge Familiar. We do want the black mana, or the white mana to cast Vindicate. Okay, cool. So now we can discard a card with Cephalitic Inkshrouder. Thank you, opponent. And we are good to go. Because now we can, like, Vindicate their Isolated Chapel. Churn through our deck until we find another win condition. And, yeah. This game should be over. We will need to watch out for decking, because okay, we have this Ripples of Undeath in play. I think we're definitely casting this Persist. Okay, we gotta kill the Priest of Fell Rites here, because that gets back their news, and then they can combo. And we wouldn't want that to happen. So we gotta find our dam. Okay, there's the dam. Dark Ritual helps, so now we get to cast the dam on the Priest of Fell Rites, Vindicate their white land so they can't get back the Priest of Fell Rites next turn. Then we get to just, like, persist the thing. Yeah, we'll persist the Serra's Emissary, name creature, play a couple of oozes, call it a day. We notably cannot draw another 7 cards because this Ripples of Undeath is going to mill us next turn. So what we can do instead is use the Persist on our own Sire of Insanity. We'll just discard cards that don't matter. Here's a Necrotic Ooze. Persist Sire of Insanity because it's the most power. And then we get to cast another Necrotic Ooze before all the hands go away. And then if I'm counting right, this should be lethal. This is like 5, 11, 15, 20, 24. Yeah, cool. So even if they have an Erebos' intervention here, they can like kill the priest, gain some life. Weird match. GG's opponent. Cool mirror. Okay, see y'all next round. Alright, and here we are back for the next round of the Penny Dreadful Kickoff. This hand is great. I mean, it could be better. We could have a Dark Ritual, but I'm not going to complain about turn 1 Duress into turn 3 Buried Alive into turn 4 Necrotic Ooze win the game. So, let's take it. And if we do draw Dark Ritual, this is a turn 3 kill. Oh wow, this matchup is amazing. Mono green, Stompy. They don't really have interaction for us. I think they have like Wheel of Sun and Moon. They might have Pithing Needles out of the side. But these are all things that we can blow up with Vindicate, so I am not concerned. We'll go ahead and Bury It Alive for the combo. Skirge Familiar, Asmodeus, and we'll pick up Serra's Emissary, just in case something goes wrong. I don't know what would go wrong at this point, but better safe than sorry. Yep, there's your Steel Leaf Champion, and here is your Doom! God, this deck is something else. So now we get to spin our wheels. We do unfortunately discard a Persist here, but it's fine. We've got 4 in the deck. We'll be able to draw another one like that. We'll Dark Ritual, draw some more cards, maybe cast a Dam, maybe not. Don't really know or care what my opponent is doing at this point. I'm just gonna draw some cards, just pitch some cards, draw some cards. There's the Persist for the Serra's Emissary. Let's just get that out of the way. Doom. Doom. Name creature. Then we can Cruelclaw's Heist to make sure that the way is clear. Savage Swipe doesn't do anything with Serra's Emissary out, but might as well take it anyway. Now we just need to make sure we have lethal in play, which we can do by just playing this Grave Titan. I might draw another 7, just because drawing cards is fun. Okay, cool. Now we cast a Grave Titan. And so I boarded in the Unwanted Remake last match because I thought it might be good as instant speed interaction, but really this is the matchup that we want the Unwanted Remake for. They're going to play giant 5/4 creatures and try to double their power with Berserk, so we just want to make sure that we don't die to that. Okay, cool. Now we pass the turn. We know they have nothing. We have protection from creatures. And 24 power in play. Your move, opponent. They may have stepped away from the computer, assuming that it's going to take me like 10 minutes to finish my combo. But, well, I don't gotta kill you. I just gotta put 24 power into play and make sure you have no relevant cards in hand. Cool. Alright, opponent has decided the game is over. So let's go to sideboarding. Duress not great. We want all of our removal spells. We'll keep in the one Cruelclaw Heist, just as an insurance policy. What else are we cutting here? Do we even want the Cruelclaw Heist? I feel like the answer is no. They're going to have Graveyard Hate, so we cut the Unmarked Graves. Yeah, like, we can win this game by just killing all of their creatures and eventually slamming a Serra's Emissary. Yeah, so we can get rid of the Cruelclaw's Heist with the anticipation of, if we need it, we can put the Sire of Insanity into play. This hand would be great if it had black mana. It does not have black mana. We got a mull. Their deck does kill us pretty quickly, like their turn 4 usually, so we need a removal spell / whatever this is. Okay, cool. We'll put a Caves of Koilos back and start the game. This doesn't have removal. It does have another turn 4 kill, assuming no interaction from their side. They could just slam like a Wheel of Sun and Moon again. That would be annoying. Okay, cool. That's there. So that turns off our Buried Alive, but our Grave Titan is still online. We just gotta get to it. We could be dead here. Depends on how deep they mulligan for interaction. No, they kept a 7-card hand. We do kind of need interaction here. Or, okay, Dark Ritual, also good. So if they didn't have a Wheel of Sun and Moon, they would be dead here. But as it is, they do, so we'll just cast a Grave Titan next turn off of this Dark Ritual. I don't know if it'll be good enough, but Grave Titan is a heck of a card. Also possible they have like Aspect of Hydra here to pump their Surferin up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll be an 8/8. Give one of these +8/+8, and then we will be dead. But you know, you win some, you lose some. Okay, take 8, go to 9, cast a Grave Titan, hopefully stabilize. Oh, take 10, go to 7, actually. Dam off the top would also be very good. They get to keep their Experiment 1, but it shrinks down to a 1/1. Necrotic Ooze, not quite, so let's just Dark Ritual Grave Titan. Not feeling great about this game, but we are definitely not dead. Unless they have a Berserk, in which case we are dead. If there's Surferin attacks, then they can pump the Steel Leaf Champion, which then pumps the Pelt Collector when it dies. So we might actually let the Surferin through and double block the Pelt Collector if that happens. Yep. So we got a block here with the Grave Titan. I think we do double block the Pelt Collector because of what I just said. Their Surferin is scary. I mean, we'll see what they have. Okay, they don't have any pump spells, so we're not just dead. We can slam this Necrotic Ooze, go to 1, block a creature, jump a creature. If they have another creature, we are dead. Priest of Felright's not great here. So we cast Necrotic Ooze, we'll use the Ooze to block the Surfarin and the Zombie token to block the Experiment one. Next turn we get to trade with the Experiment one, assuming they have nothing in hand. They probably have something in hand. Yeah, there definitely is enough hate in this format to beat this Necrotic Ooze Reanimator deck. However, I don't think people brought the hate necessary to beat it. I mean, we have faced a lot of Wheel of Sun and Moon in like Silent Gravestone, etc., but oh no, they have 2 creatures. Okay. Alright, nice. Probably get that one on the play, but you know, that is the way of aggro decks. Dan is looking real good here though. Like, they are playing out all of their cards, and they are all going to die. Do we just assume that there's going to be a bunch of graveyard hate, and so we bring in a second Grave Titan? I think so. They probably also have Scavenging Ooze, but that one I'm less scared of. Okay, this hand has a Priest of Fell Rites on 2 to threaten to reanimate something. We don't have any way to reanimate stuff, but they don't know that. And if they like slam a Wheel of Sun and Moon on turn 2, then we can Vindicate it. If they play I think we just play the Priest here. No need to get greedy with the Dark Ritual. Yep, there's the Wheel of Sun and Moon, but because we played our 2/2, they can't attack. I think on this turn, we just play a second Priest. Like, we have the Vindicate in hand. We have a Dark Ritual for mana. If we ever draw a spell that lets us put something into the graveyard, we can Dark Ritual, Vindicate the Wheel of Sun and Moon, and then go fetch our cards that win the game. Looking pretty good here. We just need to, you know, not die. Like, if they crack in with the Experiment one after pumping it, I will probably block with my Priest of the Fell Rites. If they save their Experiment one with the pump spell, that's a pump spell that I don't have to deal with later. So decided to not attacking. Sure, it'll get bigger later. Makes sense. Okie dokie. Here's my Necrotic Ooze. It blocks your creatures. What are you going to do about it? This is like a Surfarin. Opponent thinking real hard here. If they have a second Wheel of Sun and Moon, that would be kind of annoying. Because we only have the one Vindicate. If not, they have to attack with everything and then we like eat a Tattermunch Maniac. If they attack in with the Experiment 1, I will trade it with the Priest of Fell Rites, but I will let one Tattermunch Maniac through. Easiest block of my life. So now we've got 6 cards in our deck that win us the game on the spot, plus 2 Grave Titans that would be very, very good. So they don't have a pump spell because I imagine they would have used it to kill the Necrotic Ooze and save their Tattermunch. Things could get a little scary here if they play a 5/4. I guess if they play a 5/4, we like block the Tattermunch, double block the Pelt Collector, take 3. Oh, that's pretty big. Now here, if they have a removal, if they have a pump spell, that will be a pretty big blowout, but gotta do what we gotta do. Can't take too much damage, want to take the Pelt Collector off the board, happy to trade it with the Priest while we still can. Persist, unfortunately not one of the 8 or so cards that win us the game on the spot, so we will just pass. Is it correct to kill the Avatar of the Resolute with this Vindicate? We can block it with the News, take some damage. I think probably no. Like, again, we just have so many cards in our deck that win us the game if we remove this Wheel of Sun and Moon, that I think we can block the Necrotic Ooze on the Avatar of the Resolute and be okay. Like, we do go to 9 here, but then we have this Priest of Fell Rites that is active. We also have this Persist in hand. If they play a Scavenging Ooze, we will probably have to kill that. Oh, I guess Serra's Emissary probably also wins us the game here. We do need to be mindful of Hurricane, which deals X damage to all creatures with flying and all players. Like, they could use that as a burn spell to end the game. Okay, that's annoying, because now we're taking 4. Do I block the Experiment 1? I think so. We take less damage. I mean, this one is bigger. Wrath probably wins us the game at this point too, because we have the Persistent hand. Okay, well, you know, we had to take an L at some point. We get to block for one more turn at least, but things are not looking too great for us. Like, if they have Berserk or Aspect of the Hydra or a Hurricane, like, all of these things will kill us on the spot. Nope. Unwanted Remake. Also not going to do it, unfortunately. Cool. GG's, opponent. you know, this is the way Magic works. Sometimes you draw great, sometimes you get got. And even when you have your interaction in hand, you do still just die. All right. On to the next match. Okay, and here we are back for the next round of Penny Dreadful. 500. This hand is a keep. We skipped the first couple mulligans. Sorry. We have to put 2 cards on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 lands on the bottom. Odds are pretty good that we draw a land for Buried Alive. And I want to keep my Persist. Like, the card that I would put on the bottom here is the Persist. Because Priest of Fell Rites plus Buried Alive is a turn 3 kill. Yeah, my opponent and I are chatting. Ooh, Nadu. This is the first time we've seen Nadu in this particular event. I think we're going to spike a land next turn. It'll be fine. I'm going to play this Priest of Fell Rites. Okay, this is a problem. They have Unctus, which can trigger Nadu for free. Well, okay, for free at the cost of 2 life. This is good to know about. We are probably going to lose this game if we don't make our land drop. Sylvan Safekeeper, also a bit scary because it's another way to trigger Nadu for free. I think that is all of their Unctus triggers, so they will need to play another creature to keep going. Oh, okay, Unctus can target itself. Good to know. We might get punished for not bottoming this Persist here. It might also not matter. We'll see. What has my opponent revealed so far? A couple lands, Fate Stitcher, another Unctus, Sylvan Safekeeper. No Memory Lapse is good. That's probably what they are digging for here. They can play the Fungus. I guess they can also attack with the Nadu to draw and discard 1. They've only got 1 more free activation. Okay, there's a Fauna Shaman. That is not a Memory Lapse. I guess they can pay mana, but now they are tapped out of Memory Lapse mana. Well, kind of. They can use the Sylvan Safekeeper here to basically generate mana by sacrificing lands on my turn to flip up untapped lands. Didn't matter. Okay. I think we have died. I will go ahead and go to game 2. Yeah, punished big time for putting that Persist there. All right, game 2, Drana and Linvala, great here. Pithing Needle, pretty good here. Duress is okay. They have counter spells, which is always a bummer. Vindicate's going to be good because usually they have graveyard hate spells. Serra's Emissary less good because they usually win with Laboratory Maniac, not with anything combat damage related. So the Pithing Needles will name Fate Stitcher, the Vindicates will take care of any Wheel of Sun and Moon shenanigans they have. I'm going to do the usual cut to Unmarked Grave, and we'll bring in an Unwanted Remake, I think. Mostly we just want to kill their Unctus and their Nadu before things get rolling too much. Nadu obviously very good against targeted removal because it still draws them the card. So mostly we're looking to beat up the Unctus. Opponent's deck, I think, also very good. Also a reason to run Graveyard Hate. Okie dokie. This has turn 2 Necrotic Ooze, turn 3 Unmarked Grave for something, question mark? Like, if we go get Asmodeus with Unmarked Grave, we can start drawing cards. Which would be good. I like drawing cards. Okay, they did not have a Birds of Paradise here, which is great for us. I think I'm going to go ahead and Dark Ritual out this Necrotic Ooze so that why is it asking me to pay 1? Oh no. Okay, alright, there we go. Thank you, Magic Online. This puts a threat into play, also gets around Memory Lapse, so we're going to go ahead and attack. And then I think we will just play this Ripples of Undeath. This smells like a Memory Lapse to me. Fortunately, with our 4-3, we have begun the beatdown. Okay, cool. Dazzling Denial is annoying, but not the end of the world. What you got? If they play a Nadu and we trade, I am very happy. Kiora's Follower. I don't particularly care about that one. Okay. So we will attack before they know this Pithing Needle is about to name Kiora's Follower. And then we'll go ahead and Unmarked Grave for Asmodeus, I think. Okay, Pithing Needle on Kiora's Follower. Oh no, Unmarked Grave cannot actually get our draw 7 guy. What is this Unmarked Grave going to get? Is it just a reanimation thing? It may have been correct to lead with Unmarked Grave to eat the counterspell. It might be Priest of Fell Rites. Or Sire of Insanity, or Skirge Familiar. A lot of options here. I think we'll get Skirge Familiar so that we can play another News next turn by discarding this Grave Titan, and then that turns on any of our reanimation spells in the future. Also great if we draw Asmodeus. Oh no! Okay. Well, they have a Scavenging Ooze. It's unfortunate. We'll see if they use it to eat the Skirge Familiar. Do we discard the Grave Titan here? I don't think so. Like, we don't have a reanimation spell in hand. And we drew a land to cast the... Okay. Okay, so that's the News combo down. Let's see if they trade. I'd be pretty happy if they trade here. We have another Necrotic Ooze in hand, so... And this is one of the upsides of having Grave Titan as a reanimation target, right? Is that, like, now I am one Dark Ritual away from just slamming a 6/6. It is pretty funny that we can exile, that we can use Necrotic Ooze abilities. we don't have the mana for it, but you know, it's a nice thought. Ooze tribal. The Ooze is teaming up here. Their lack of blue mana is hurting them a bit, because they have cast this Malevolent Hermit, but they are unable to use the counterspell mode on it. I'm going to go ahead and attack. If they block, then I get to Unwanted Remake something. If they don't block, then we're racing. Cool. Okay, cool. Interesting. So I could Unwanted Remake this on end step. We'll see. We'll see what follow-up they have. Oh, okay, nothing. Sure. Alright, so we'll probably wait till our turn to Unwanted Remake this Fauna Shaman. We definitely cannot let it live. However, I am okay with murdering it on my turn so that they don't have a blocker for the race. It is a little awkward if we draw something that we want to cast, but also, you know, preserves information. And if we draw a land, then it is just fine. Okay, here have another 2/2. Yeah, like this Fauna Shaman is going to go get Fate Stitchers, and then they will be able to combo. I don't like any of those things. I would appreciate if we could draw a land next turn, and then we can trade off the Necrotic Ooze for the Nadu, and then just slam a Grave Titan. Persist also fine. Does this put us dead on board? No. And it puts them to 1, so I think this is a good line. Okay, cool. They're trading. We're going to bring back the Ooze because one of our win conditions... Well, I guess we no longer have the Skirge Familiar. So we can't just straight up kill them, but they don't know that. I think if they smash in, I will take 6 here. Interesting. Yeah, no blocks. Not looking great for us, but, you know, if they don't have a counterspell and we draw a land, then we can just slam this Grave Titan. Not looking good for the home team. In fact, we are just dead on board, so we'll attack just for good measure, but... Oh, what do you know? 6 mana is a lot of mana. Oh, okay. Well, they're trading, sure. We'll persist back an Ooze. Doesn't matter. Still dead, but maybe they want to, like, respect something. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, the Swords to Plowshares is not in fact Swords to Plowshares. We'll give it to him. And maybe we make top 8, maybe we don't. I don't know. I think this tournament was pretty fun. Got to jam Necrotic Ooze into all sorts of nonsense. I will potentially see you in top 8, or maybe for the wrap-up. Alright, and here we are back again against our round 5 opponent. That would be very useful information if I remembered what my round 5 opponent was doing. Oh, long tournaments. Okay, this hand I don't think we can keep. We do have Dark Ritual and some reanimation stuff and a Grave Titan, but no way to find cards. And game 1 likely just going to be all about who can goldfish the fastest. Similarly, this hand has only Entomb effects, and I guess it could be okay. Like, the Dark Ritual means that we can Unmarked Grave for the priest thing, and then if we draw a white source, we can Dark Ritual out the priest thing. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. This hand is worse than most of the other ones, but we'll keep it because we're on 5, so it is what it is. And this does have the upside of... Oh, that's exciting. Okay. Unmarked Grave makes our life a lot easier. We'll just Unmarked Grave for the Serra dude, and then bring it back, and that will win the game a good amount of the time. If they have a removal spell for our priest here, then we can still Unmarked Grave for the Serra thing, and then if we draw a 3rd mana, we can unearth the priest. Usually their main deck removal spell for Serra is Berserk, which is only good... Okay, they don't have it. So we get to get them. Ba-dum-bum. Since their primary removal spell is Berserk, I might not attack into mana until we have the opportunity to get a Sire of Insanity with this second Unmarked Grave, and then Dark Ritual back the Priest of Fell Rites. Of course, if they tap out, then we can just attack and not worry about Berserk ever again, because once we hit them once for 7, if they Berserk the Serra's Emissary, they will just die. Okay, 2 experiment ones, conspicuously leaving up a green mana. Oh, not anymore. Okay. I don't think they understand what this card does. Like, protection from creatures is... it's pretty good. We'll get the Sire of Insanity, just in case. Of course, they have no outs at this point. Unless they're running, like, main deck Broken Wings, which destroys a creature with flying, or an artifact or enchantment. Which is very unlikely out of their mono-green Stompy deck. Opponent going through the motions, I will take 0 damage, thank you. And just for giggles, Let's see what's in your hand. Okay, so they did have a removal spell that they chose not to use. Well, maybe they drew it later, but yeah. Okay. Smickety smack. Old walk, because why not? Okie dokie. Game 2, here we come. Okay, again, I think we're just going to sideboard the same as we did last time. So Duress is out, Cruelclaw's Heist out, Unwanted Remake in, Dam in, 2 Unmarked Grave out. It's possible Unwanted Remake is still not very good, but it's in my sideboard, it destroys creatures. We'll take it. Instant speed, also great versus the Berserk deck. And the fight spell, actually. It's possible we want more of these Grave Titans, but I don't think so. Like, last time the Grave Titans were just way too slow. So I think having 1 to tutor for is good. I could see playing the 2 Grave Titans over like Unmarked Grave. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okie dokie. Well, the Sand has turn 3 kill with Buried Alive Persist. If we draw a Dark Ritual on turn 1, then we can Bury It Alive on turn 1. Which will be lovely. And if we don't, we've got this Wrath lined up for turn 4. We do need to draw a land in the top 3 cards of our deck. Ideally top 2, because then we can dam a thing and then on 2 and then Buried Alive on 3. This hand, we'll see. Yep, okay, so Buried Alive no longer has text, Dam still has text. Ripples of Undeath no longer has text, so we will probably skip that. Actually, our entire hand no longer has text, so let's just go ahead and Ripples. We obviously can't draw the cards because of the game-breaking bug. Well, also, just the cards go onto the bottom of our library. But in case we find a Vindicate, I would rather have it in play than not. And right now they are beating down with the 1/1. So I'm very happy with my decision to to board in those Grave Titans, huh? And now we have 4 mana, so we can dam if they play anything scary. If not, we'll just keep taking damage and drawing cards. It would be funny to cast this Ondu Inversion and just clean up the board, but I think probably the more likely way that we get here is by just playing a Grave Titan. And like, at this rate, we are paying 1 life to draw a card. This is an exchange that I'm very happy to do. I wonder what they even have in their hand. My best bet is like the heroic whatever, the card that gives their cards hexproof and indestructible. Could also be some fight spells. Maybe like Aspect of Hydra. Yep, happy to trade here. If they play a pump spell, we wrath. Yep. Pump spell played. Fortunately, no berserk to go along with it. If we ever find one of our Vindicates, we should be good. And the stand should give us enough time. We get to play a 6/6 next turn, then draw a lot of cards. Well, we might or might not draw a lot of cards. We'll see when we get there. So there are some other builds of Necrotic Ooze. Okay, sure. You've got a Wheel of Sun and Moon. I've got a Grave Titan. There are some builds of this deck that play a bunch of cards like Dwarven Strike Force and Morsel Hoarder that let you win the game on the spot when you resolve an ooze. I am just playing the Asmodeus and the Skirge Familiar. It means that you will, in a lot of positions, not be able to win the game on the spot when you play an ooze. However, it also means that you never draw cards that you can't cast. If they have a hate card that turns off the ooze combo, I would rather have 3 Grave Titans in my deck than like 3 uncastable cards. And as we've seen in the previous games, still easy enough to win. Anyway, see you in top 4. Okay, here we are for top 4 of the Penny Dreadful Kickoff for Season 35. This hand is fine. Like, we're on the draw, we've got this Ripples of Undeath. I think I'll keep this hand with the intent to ritual out Ripples on turn 1, and then maybe we can use that to find what we need. I think opponent is on a 5-color Cascade deck, which is sweet. Also probably a good matchup for us. I have no idea what spells they are casting though, so it could just be a terrible matchup for us. Okay, 2/3 looter. That's pretty good. Okay, well, we drew the Buried Alive, so I don't think I want to pick up one of these cards. I would rather just Priest of Fell Rites. And the next turn, we can Buried Alive for the other half of our combo. And if they don't have interaction for us, we do just win. If they do have interaction for us, then we'll win the turn after by unearthing the Priest of Fell Rites. Okay, they have interaction. It's fine. A bit unfortunate that we milled the Serra's Emissary there. Persist is pretty good. Like, Persist means that we can do everything in one turn. I think I will pay the mana, pay the life, pick up the Persist. And then next turn we will go Dark Ritual, Buried Alive, Persist, win the game. Maybe I should have checked to see if we have enough mana to do that. We should, right? Yeah. Do they have like invert polarity or something? Do we pick up the Dark Ritual? I think so. If things go wrong, we can always double ritual into this Serra's Emissary. Okay, it looks like they are F6'd, so I think I want... Do I want white mana after I lose? Let's decide in a moment. So we're going to get Necrotic Ooze. We already have Skirge Familiar in the graveyard, so we'll also get Asmodeus and Sire of Insanity. Now what we can do is persist the Necrotic Ooze. You've seen this before. Let's Dark Ritual first, actually, because we will need to pay a white mana. Okay, looks like it... Okay. We want Necrotic Ooze, bring that back, draw 7 cards. Okay, they are just fully F6'd, which means that we get to win the game. Draw 7 cards. 1, 2, 3. We don't need any of these Entomb effects anymore because we are drawing our entire deck. We also don't need any lands. Alright, they just have a Bring to Light. I don't know what they could draw. I don't think there's any sort of Wrath. So, because they only have lands in their hand, I am going to not reanimate this Sire of Insanity. Instead, I'm just going to cast a Grave Titan. And persist the Serra's Emissary. Clickety click 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 click. Okie dokie, here we go. Although, I guess they probably can bring to light for an answer. They have some untapped lands, so maybe we just cut them off of all of their possible outs by reanimating this Sire of Insanity. And we can even, like... So we'll bring back the Serra's Emissary, and then we can just damn the Oblivious Bookworm, only in creature. Okay, didn't even have to pass the turn. Opponent concluded they have no outs. Alright, so 5-color Cascade probably has some number of Wheel of Sun and Moon, so we can go ahead and put some Vindicates in our deck to kill that. Duress probably not going to hit here. Creature deck means damn good. Graveyard hate means Unmarked Grave bad, Grave Titan good. Yeah. There's probably a better way to do this, but... like... At this... Yeah. I've been playing this game for the past 6 hours. So we're just going to roll with it. All right, that hand was bad. We mulligan. This hand, fine, but also probably bad. So we mulligan. This hand, worse, but we keep it because it's on 5. So we'll go ahead and put these 2 lands on the bottom. Hope to draw something. Okay. Unmarked Grave is something. The question, we probably don't get Serra's Emissary here because they showed they had Dreadbore. Rip. The good news is we have a bunch of lands, so anything we draw off the top is going to be good. Like that. The nice thing about having just 8 copies of your 2-card combo is sometimes you just draw the card that you needed. And of course, the flip side is that sometimes you don't draw the card that you needed, and that's okay too. Dreadbore, yeah. Okay, cool. They have a Dreadbore in their deck, so I wonder whether or not they actually have any graveyard hate. We're going to play around more discard by going and getting a Serra's Emissary. They haven't put any pressure in play, so if they don't do anything until turn 5, we will bring back the Serra's Emissary, and maybe that'll be good enough. We'll see. Also possible I should have gotten the Grave Titan there, because it's better into Dreadbore, but Meddling Mage doing nothing. You can't. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that is technically something. You can't stop me from casting a Priest of Fell Rites if it's unearthed from the graveyard. What you got? Vindicate? Sure. Time Walk activated. Fortunately, I have infinite lands. Although that is a bit annoying, because if I draw a Grave Titan, I will have wanted to cast it. But it is what it is. Okay, seeing their removal sweep, I might actually not name creature with the Serra's Emissary. I might name sorcery and just hope that carries me to the game. Because they've got both Vindicate and Dreadbore, potentially multiples in their deck. And 7/7, very large. Gonna kill him in 3 hits. Gonna block this Meddling Mage. Buried Alive, now that is a good name. Let's just not fool around. We'll get this Priest of Fell Rites to get back this Serra's Emissary. I think, again, we're going to name Sorcery because it looks like all of their removal spells are sorcery speed. Could get punished for that. Very possible that naming creature was correct. Looks like they were trying to tap for Dreadbore there, so seems like I chose well. And this is, Priest of Fell Rites is basically our only white card outside of, like, Vindicate. But it's really showcasing its power here. Like, it is a 2-for-1 that plays through the disruption very well. What you got? Bring to Light X equals 5 is pretty scary. Okay, yeah. You have a 5/5. It can get lifelink. How much mana does it take? 1 mana? Okay, cool. I guess I will not be attacking with my Serra's Emissary. Instead, I will just play this Priest of Fell Rites. And we will kind of be in a standoff. The standoff definitely favors them. Their deck is built to win the standoff. However, if I draw like a Grave Titan or something, Asmodeus is fine here. I don't know if I want to take 7 to draw 7. Or I guess it's 8 to draw 8. It depends on if they Wrath or not. It is pretty funny that... Okay, let's start by seeing what card we just drew. Ripples of Undeath. That's a good one. They no longer have clues for this, right? But I guess taking 5 damage is not great if we plan to draw 7 cards. Like, we could go to 4. 3, because we have to tap the caves. Okay, we love Sun and Moon. That is pretty good. That stops us from comboing, so I guess we're just going to sit here until we find a dam for this Ezran. That unfortunately also turns off of our Ripples. It's okay, we didn't need any of those cards anyway, so no. Let's draw the card that we should have drawn naturally. Okay, not a very good one. I think at this point we start shipping in with Asmodeus, huh? Like, if they take it, I'm happy. If they chump block, I'm also happy. If they kill it, I'm also happy because it means that I stop losing a life to draw my cards. Okie dokie. 2-2 down. We'll put a stop on their end step just in case they do something that means we have to draw 7 here. What if we just draw 7 anyway? That's not a good idea. Let's not do that. Okay. I would have loved a dam. Necrotic Ooze good. Let's start by attacking. Make him make the same choice. Sure. So notably now Vindicate lets us combo because we have this Necrotic Ooze and, well, I guess not quite because we have Asmodeus in play. But drawing Vindicate would be very good. No, I would not like to break the game. So let's see what card we drew. Another Buried Alive. Okie dokie. Then let's keep eating their 2/2s. At this point, if we draw a removal spell, we probably just point it at the Ezran. Okie dokie. In we come. Do we also swing with the Serra's Emissary? I don't think so. It's like they crack us back, we go to 3. Let's force the issue. Do you have an instant? No, you have a spell queller. Okay, sure. Ah, double blocking. I see. Okay. Well, we'll kill the Ezreum. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it doesn't just sacrifice clues, it also sacrifices... Okay, cool. That is good to know. We are probably dead at this point. Wait, what? Oh, they chose lifelink. Okay. Never mind, we're chilling. If they had chosen indestructible, we probably lose, but... Okay. There's the Vindicate and the Grave Titan that we wanted for Christmas. Let's again see what we draw. Land. Okay. Smash for 10. If they block, they go to 5 and they have to jump. I'll hold this one back. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, if we ever find an artifact, we can give our Ooze a lifelink. Okay, cool. Opponent clearly not drawing very well. They are hitting all of their land drops. And then that's the game. Yeah, cool. A bit anticlimactic, but I think that this is probably our best possible matchup. Just random mid-range deck. Yeah, because they have to dilute their deck a bunch to play hate cards, at which point we just get to smack them with 6 mana 6/6s. GG's, opponent. Alright, and here we are for the finals, a rematch of our round 6. Might get stomped, might be okay. Well, we'll see. I think this is probably not a great matchup for us. But we're here, so we're winners. Okay. That's not a good hand. This is a great hand. This is a... Oh, shoot. We've got the Skirge Familiar in hand. But we're on the play. Oh, wait. We can put the Skirge Familiar back because we mulliganed. So we've got the turn 2 kill here. Here's the Dark Ritual. Here's Buried Alive. We get the Skirge Familiar. We get the Asmodeus. We get the Necrotic Ooze. I guess we don't quite kill, but I don't think my opponent's deck has anything to interact with us. Sure, you have an Insidious Fungus. Dark Ritual? No. Okay. Well, here's the Persist for the Necrotic Ooze before they can get up counter mana. And we don't get to win this turn because of how we built our deck, but next turn we will be able to draw our 7 cards and just win. Maybe I underestimated, and they have a removal spell, in which case we'll have to wait 2 more turns to, or 2 more land drops before we can get our Necrotic Ooze. So not quite the turn 2 win, but basically. Okay, yeah, you got a Fauna Shaman. Okie dokie. Now we get to spin the wheels to victory! At least in game 1. Okay. Discard a bunch of cards, draw a bunch of cards, discard a bunch of cards, draw a bunch of cards, discard a bunch of cards, draw a bunch of cards. You know the drill. Looking for Duress and other discard spells. Also, Grave Titan would be nice. We'll hold on to this grave thingy. Wow, we are getting a little unlucky here at finding our payoffs. Good thing we have all these entomb effects. Okie dokie, there's a Serra's Emissary. Let's start things off with the Duress. Take the Dazzling Denial. We'll go ahead and damn the Fauna Shaman. We can Cruelclaw's Heist to get rid of the creature in hand. And then Dark Ritual. Do I want to draw 7 more cards? Probably not. I'm a sucker. Okay, here's all of our good stuff. And by our good stuff, I mean the cards that will actually win us the game now that we have won the game. We can go ahead and cast this Grave Titan. And then we can cast this Serra's Emissary using our Persist. Cool. Alright, and now we get to go to sideboarding. Drana and Linvala, great in this matchup because they have a lot of creatures with abilities. I think... Do we play around Graveyard Hate? The only Graveyard Hate we saw last time was Scavenging Ooze, I think. I want to keep in these Duresses because they're a counterspell deck, but I also want to have some answers to Wheel of Sun and Moon, just in case. Yeah, I'm really not sure. Oh, I guess we want the Pithing Needles too. So let's go ahead and bring those in instead of the Duresses. Oh, too late. Well, it is what it is. Did I mention we've been doing this for 6 hours? Okay, I think we mulligan this hand and keep this hand. We'll put the Skirge Familiar on the bottom. If they have nothing, then we can bury it alive on 3, Ooze on 4, win the game. How far did opponent mulligan? Also 6 cards. I would love a Dark Ritual, please. Reanimation target drawn to hand. Not quite the same thing as a Dark Ritual, but you know. Unctus is pretty scary here. Nadu is pretty scary here. Scavenging Ooze is scary but acceptable. It slows us down a turn unless we draw a Dark Ritual. Or Damn. That was a great draw. If they have a 1-mana counterspell, they have to use it here. Nope. Okie dokie. Maybe they just have a second Scavenging Ooze. That would be unfortunate. Nope, just a Kyora's follower. Cool. In that case, let's cast our Buried Alive. That just resolved. Okay, well, great. Okay. We'll get to Priest of Fell Rites as our third card, because if they counter our Necrotic Ooze, I want to be able to bring it back. What you got for me? Oh no. What are you sandbagging the second Scavenging Ooze? Oh, just an Ondu. Okay. What else you got? Fauna Shaman. Alright, cool. Looks like you're dead. Cool. Alright. And there we go. Huh. We won. Okay. We won. Haha, yes. Lovely. We get the kudos and also the prize money, because despite being free to enter, thanks to our generous sponsor at Card Hoarder, everybody gets prizes in the kickoff. Well, most people. Top 32. So, what did we learn from winning a tournament with Reanimator? First off, this is not a Necrotic Ooze deck. This is a Reanimator deck. Our goal is to put some cards in the graveyard and bring them back. The best targets are Serra's Emissary against aggro decks, Sire of Insanity against control decks, and Necrotic Ooze versus other combo decks. Because Buried Alive gets the other two cards for free, we usually just tutor Skirge Familiar Asmodeus, and then, find a Necrotic Ooze, put it into play in some way. This deck felt pretty good at playing around Graveyard Hate. I think mostly because we are not really a Necrotic Ooze deck. Like, we're not playing Dwarven Strike Force or Cephaliding Shrouder or any of the other cards that you can't really cast that you kind of need in order to combo. Instead, we're playing the very compact Skirge Familiar Asmodeus package, both of which are technically castable, even if you're not particularly happy to do so. We did definitely win one game to beating down with a 6/6 in the top 4, so I guess I shouldn't dunk on it too much. As far as the removal package, Unwanted Remake felt pretty bad. Like, we just didn't need it. It should probably just have been more dams. And there was one game where we killed a creature and our opponent flipped the Manifested Dread into a 2/2, into like a Nadu. So, yeah, suboptimal. The rest of the deck, I think it's pretty good. Just having some Duresses to make sure the coast is clear when you're comboing off is great, both before and after. I don't think I would change much about the main deck. Maybe add a couple more white sources. As far as the sideboard goes, Unwanted Remake, bad. Never saw Drana and Linvala. I think partially that's because all of our tutors search specifically for non-legendary creatures, which makes it hard to find our one of legendary creature, unless we're Buried Aliving for it. But if we're Buried Aliving in a post-sideboard game, we're probably winning anyway with our Skirge Familiar and Asmodeus. Voidmere, Lost Legacy, Pithing Needle, I think these are all good picks, even though they didn't come up. I think probably going up to 4 dams in the 75 is good. Dam was especially strong post-combo and pre-combo because it kills Scavenging Ooze and also kills a creature for free. Kills a creature by discarding 2 cards in the post-news world. Grave Titan, great. You could play whatever fatty you want here, but Grave Titan, great. Okay, so that's my final thoughts. Obviously, the deck was pretty powerful. We saw a Wheel of Sun and Moon in about half of our matches, and about half of the games that we saw it, we won anyway. Which I think speaks to the power of Dark Ritual in this format, and just the ability to force our opponent to play cards that don't do much in order to respond to our cards that win the game. Cool. Let me know what deck I should build next with my fun prize money that I got for winning this tournament. And until then, happy brewing.